Function-Driven Web Management by Joel Benedict. A website ruled by form is like a house without a blueprint. The house is unstable, chaotic, and purposeless. A website ruled by form is like a custom-built house carefully designed by an expert architect. The functional house is orderly and each room looks better than what the buyer had imagined. Through examination of web development strategy, web developers can see that the successful web projects are built upon goals, which thereby illustrates the irreversible dominance of function over form in commercial web design. This essay will show the strategic phase of web projects built on a functional foundation of goals, research, project management, and design. The first aspect of strategy proves a function-driven plan is better than a form-driven plan. The first section of the research paper examines the first aspect of web development strategy and the three phases of strategy: research, project management, and design. Strategy is the pursuit to align reality with goals. Goals achieved when the one with more advantages wins. Strategy is the ceaseless pursuit of advantage. Not every goal is a competitive one, but all organizations require a ceaseless pursuit of advantage over a problem. Strategic foresight begins with a frame of the problem. Framing enables analysts to define the scope and focus of the problems requiring strategic foresight. A completely defined scope and focus of the problems includes an inventory of the goals and limits of the web project. The defined scope and focus help to define a functional purpose statement. The purpose statement is a set of goals the builder is expected to achieve, similar to the contract a custom home buyer writes with an architect. In web-based enterprises, each group has expectations, and the sooner that they know whether a site will fulfill those expectations, the better it is for everyone. The architect is expected to fulfill the house from the contract in the same way a web developer is expected to fulfill the site plan from the purpose statement. Both parties fulfill an expectation of function-driven goals. A form-driven plan lacks a comprehensive purpose and scope needed to see the end goals of the spokesperson, and instead plans for short-sighted elements of form, such as features or aesthetics. Purposeful contracts, defined scope and limits, and advantage over problems are proof that for a strategy to exist, web managers must form function-driven goals. The function-driven goal of a web project is to reach a target audience of customers or end users. The research tactics of environmental scans and customer requirement evaluation show web managers that function-driven plans are better than form-driven plans. Research of customers through surveys or web analytics shows the goals of end users or customers. A set of personas is created from a summary of the raw data. Personas are fictional narratives describing particular representative users and serve as a stand-in for real users during the design process. The particular representative users allow the function of the project to match the function needed by the end users. End users visit a company site for function, not elements of form. The function-driven architect of a house researches what the buyers need most from a house. A form-driven plan ignores the needs of buyers in favor of popular trends. The architect anticipates problems the buyers could encounter in the future, such as potential flood areas. Environmental scans give managers a comprehensive perspective of the problems in web design. The goal is to come up with a mix of basic driving forces that suggest the most likely future, and some insight into potential change drivers that may lead to alternative future outcomes. Form-based thought leaves managers without any suggestion of the basic driving forces and vulnerable to the unexpected. Form and function-centered plans do not give managers a map of the exact changes of the future, but insight into potential change drivers does allow for tactical changes in form. Management of the project can begin after the completion of research. With a strong functional foundation of purpose and research in place, the manager can begin to write the blueprints of project management. This section discusses project management as the second phase of strategy. The role of the project manager, models of project development, and construction of crew. This section continues to show that function-driven plans and website management are better than form-driven plans in website management. The web manager is the architect of site function, and the core team is in charge of site form. The manager of a project must provide the business sense and logic that will bring the project successfully to completion. The business sense and logic is the primary separation between the manager and the technical and creative team. Patrick Lynch and Sarah Horton say, the project manager acts as the primary contact between the web team and the sponsor and manages the overall communication among creative, technical, and production elements of the website team. As the primary contact, the manager acts as coordinator of the different project elements. The function-centered project manager is similar to a movie producer, whose vision is brought out by organization and direction of hand-picked specialists. The form-centered project manager is similar to a movie director, whose primary concern is to give creative life to a project and to be free from the structural mandates of function. The form-driven role of director cannot exist without the function-driven logistics work of the producer. In the same way, form-driven plans are dependent on function for a final goal. With a foundation of research and an architect of function in place, the next part of project management can begin with crew selection and creation of a developmental model. The web manager is a function-driven architect of the web development team who will implement a forecast with the help of form-driven specialists. Ideally, your site designers should be involved as soon as possible in the planning discussions. The earliest possible involvement of designers allows the web manager to continue to focus on function and minimizes the time form-based core designers spend in pre-production. With a frame and a scan complete, a forecast of alternative futures can begin. Forecasts examine risk, core foundations, and failures. It diversifies techniques, ideas, and eliminates faulty assumptions. In emergent management strategy, decisions are made by the implementers of the forecast. Enterprise architects must decentralize decision-making to enable innovation. In decentralized organizations, innovation is dynamic and change is organic. The decentralized decision-making to techs, designers, and other staff chosen based on their abilities allows the crew to meet the previously defined goals and create a vision in the best way they see fit. Emergent management places priority on function and allows form to emerge from the crew upwards. With a project manager and core team in place, models of development begin to form. A developmental model gives the project clear landmarks of progress toward a goal chosen by function-driven strategy. Because developmental models follow basic principles of function, the form of the models can vary. In the best model, good project management uses the strengths of both iterative and linear models, say Lynch and Horton. The strength of the iterative model is that it continually refreshes designs and overlaps phases of development. The linear model completes each design in chronological order and does not overlap phases of development. In a hybrid model, many design iterations are encouraged early in the process but are strongly discouraged later in the development and testing phases. Early in the process, diverse ideas for form frequently change. The discouragement of iterations in the development and test phases forces final ideas to be implemented. The form is not permitted rule, and landmarks are met. In the house analogy, second guesses of construction work eventually encounter the inspector as a limit to the work. At this juncture, work either passes inspection and meets a deadline, or fails and breaks a deadline. The hybrid model blends the reliability of consistent function with the variety of form. There is no need to choose one design principle over the other. With research completed by the project manager and a specific model for development set forth, the blueprint of the website can begin.